G'day guys, welcome back of course to the Time Bomb channel. Today we have a watch review of the Stirling Fraser dive watch. I hope all is good in your part of the world, and we're going a little UK centric micro brand even. Very excited to get this on the channel, as the brand came to my attention a while back, but I've gotten distracted by things like red G-Shocks and other things in the meantime. Stirling have kindly lent this one to me, so no, it is not a sponsored review. And obviously up first we have a really solid Pelican style cases, and yes, I'm afraid I'd be an absolute heathen and whip out the sponges and everything else inside, and I'd be using this as something else. Quick sharp. Ta-dum. And there is our watch for today. But I think, yeah, with a very quick look at that, you can easily see why I wanted to get my grubby little mitts. Let's just ensure focus. Get my grubby little mitts on this thing. Really very nice indeed. One second. Yeah, there you go. Much better view of the watch. Really very nice indeed. I think you're going to like this one, guys. Yes, it's not breaking any design boundaries, is it? But it is a solid, hard as nails tool watch. Micro brands are on the up. I don't need to tell you guys that. It's got to be tough to distinguish yourself from the other micro brands out there. But I think this is one of the things that attracted me to Stirling as a brand in the first place. One of the founders of the company is still serving in the armed forces, which allows for some first-hand squaddy bashing of the prototypes. And yeah, if it can stand up to that, that level of treatment or mistreatment, it can certainly stand up fine on Civvy Street. Recently, I saw that the brand have been using tanks in testing the robustness of their watches. As you can see here, not a bad way to prove a point. Let's just hope it's not on your wrist if that happened in reality. Victorinox, I think, made similar claims a while back with their Inox, but nobody at the time or since I've seen has been able to share any testing evidence. So again, well done Stirling for doing that. In addition to which, Stirling go one step further in that they give 10% of all of their watch sales to combat stress. And Combat Stress is a charity which provides support and treatment to veterans with mental health conditions. And I guess I don't need to tell you guys that in most countries, most militaries fail miserably with soldiers' mental health issues. So charities like Combat Stress are an absolute necessity. So again, chapeau to Stirling for their commitment. Let me just clear the table and we'll focus more on the watch. Okay, so the Fraser comes in at around 350 UK pounds, and I think that's kind of the sweet spot for micro brands really. When they start pushing the 500, they become a little less micro in my view. It is the brand's dive beast even, and I think, you know, just on initial overview you'll agree it's an absolute, it certainly looks the part. Let's as always kick off with some key speccage. We're looking at 42 mils across. And then as you can see, that crown sticks out, you know, at least another 2 to 3 mils on the side there. It is a very manageable 13 mils deep, and then just 49 mils north to south. So yes, it sits proper on wrist. I'll just pop up a wrist shot and roll here while I'm talking. It comes with 300 meters worth of watery goodness, and yes, eagle eyes amongst you will have spotted the helium release valve here over at the 9 o'clock. And again, super easy and not really necessary for me to say, you know, big clear hands stand out very well against the dial, super clear, super legible, solid. You know, I'm absolutely sold on the concept. The muted finishings on the case body as well, regulars to the channel will know, for me that's kind of like the holy grail of watch design. Just absolutely gorgeous. It'll withhold the dings and the dings and arrows of life's discontent. I'm going to shut up in a minute. Yes, far better. As I see, you've got the little polishing there on the back. So yeah, while I'm just focusing on the back, then get my train of thought going back in. The case back obviously then is a screwed down. possible slight weakness to the watch here, I think, is that case back engraving there of Stirling just in the center probably could be a little bit more elaborate. You do notice that just under the timepieces there you get your unique serial number. I'm imagining what the brand will say in defense of that case back is that, you know, the watch is designed to be a tool watch, not a work of art. So yes, if you're expecting something fancy schmancy on the back, you won't get it. All of the fancy schmanciness is all in the front here. Again, eagle eyes amongst you will notice that it is a quartz. It comes with a Swiss Ronda 715. It's a fairly basic movement that is not going to be spendy to replace if there are any issues. Also note via the screw down crown, hacking seconds on this as well, and that is the ideal place obviously to leave your watch. If you are considering saving the battery, you're using the watch in rotation, etc. I'm going to say something slightly contentious here, and that is, I think, you know, military watches should be quartz. They are supposed to be grab and go. Again, they're supposed to be resistant to the bash and the crash, and it is not supposed to be, I think I said it before, you know, an art form or an artwork. Yes, there's a clear place for automatics in that somewhere, and again, many of you are going to disagree, but all opinions are welcomed on this channel. One man's feast and poison springs to mind. We don't always need to agree with each other. We only have our opinions, blah blah blah. And just because I like this watch doesn't mean that you should also. Quartzes, however, can suffer in the assembly, and again, just looking at that up close, you can see, whilst it gets as damn near close as possible to those minute markers, second markers, it is hand assembled and not machine assembled. And obviously the trade-off that you get in that process is having someone make your watch as opposed to Robocop. Yeah, it makes it incredibly difficult for the hand maker to get that close, but it really isn't bad at all. It is perhaps the one aspect that I think Stirling might consider for future watch releases is some higher end quartz movements to provide, you know, just a little bit of sharper accuracy. Again, we've got sapphire on the bezel insert here, and it sounds pretty damn good. Let's have a quick listen. Yeah, that's working, ticking all the boxes for me. Very, very pleasant indeed. So I can't see through the watch here. And it aligns, I'm going to say it aligns almost. There's a tiny bit of right hand side in this. I think, yeah, just a little bit. I'm not sure whether it's the dial or whether the removal of this bezel might be able to fix that. Again, I don't think it's going to be a huge issue for most people. As well, just notice up top your loom nipple on the triangle there as well is sorry, what I was just trying to say is that your loom nipple up the top there sticks out, so be careful of course when it does get cold. And again, if you look at it very, very closely up, you can see that nipple pip is just to the right of side of the triangle. I'm guessing 8 out of 10 pet owners wouldn't notice that, but the OCD idiot sitting here has noticed it. So again, it doesn't make a huge difference to the utility of the watch, and again, it's supposed to be a bit rough and ready. So yes, I'm perfectly comfortable with that. You can also see there, just under that sapphire crystal on the top, a little bit of blue AR coating there with that blue tinge. Very nice indeed, and also very necessary. Loom junkies, get yourself ready, prepare to salivate. Yes, the super luminova on this thing pops out like a popping thing. Most impressed. Moving on a little bit then, the strappage on this I think is absolutely excellent. They do steel straps on some of their steel bracelets even on some of their other watches, but I think this one coming on that rubber with those little hinged shoulders in there is absolutely perfect. You've got plenty of flanging underneath for moisture and ventilation. Notice also that you have a little dragon's tip on the end here. I was going to call it something else then, but I won't. A little tip on the end here, which sits obviously underneath here and keeps your keepers in place. But notice the one which is absolutely brilliant, stops any flappage and things like that. But the one thing that I did notice, if you're trying to take it off quickly, you just need to remember to push this up and push that underneath, because otherwise it can be just a tad fiddly trying to get that through there if you're in a rush. One of the other things that I was thinking of was, I mean, again, just look at the dial, spot on, really impressive. The date window isn't massive, but again, I'm not a huge date window user, but again, bear that in mind. And I'm thinking as well, just sort of overall legibility. I think the watch might benefit, perhaps, you know, some sort of flash of red on that seconds hand, or even orange on that seconds hand, again, just to distinguish a little bit. But I mean, legibility wise, when I've had it outside and things like this, I mean, you've got, yeah, you're not second guessing what time it is. It's super, super clear. Lastly, with the namings of their models, we've got the Fraser, the Brunt and the Campbell, etc., etc. If you've read any military history, those are all names that you're going to recognise. But if you haven't, I'm wondering if it would be something that Stirling could put up on the little bit of background to those names on the websites for those who may not be so aware of those surnames that are being used here. The watch, I don't think, is designed to impress the watch snobs. It's designed to be a Thule daily driver, and to me it does that absolutely perfectly. Brilliant. For my first view of this brand, I'm super impressed and think they're going to go on to, you know, bigger and better things very, very swiftly indeed. Over to you guys. What's your take on the Fraser and the brand in general? And again, as always, you know, specifically if you're an owner of one of these, you've had it for a good amount of time, it'd be great to hear your thoughts and experiences. All right, guys, thanks as always for your time and for your view. Look forward to your comments down below, and we'll catch you all in the next watch vid. Cheers now.